Word problems are actually, this is where algebra actually gets really useful, and there will be times when algebra will help you to solve problems as long as you can express it as an equation, something that you can work out. So read the problem, of course, find out what is being asked for, and then define a variable. It can be x, let x be the number of whatever it is you're looking for, Tim Tams. If it's somebody's name, you can use the first letter of their name. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that it is consistent. X is always is x. X is always the number of Tim Tams. It can't be something else in the same equation. Then write an equation, which means there will be an equal sign, using your defined variable to show the relationship between the facts in question. Solve it, answer the question word. So 5 less than a certain number is 9 less. 5 less than a certain number is, I'm going to circle that, 9 less than 3 times the number. Oh my goodness. So the word is equals. So we're going to write an equation and solve it. 5 less than a certain number. Well, the certain number, let's say, let x be the certain number. 5 less than that number is x minus 5. It's not going to be 5 minus x. That would be a certain number less than 5. 5 less than a certain number is that. There's our is. 9 less than 3 times the number. Well, that certain number was x. We've got 3 of them, and from that we take 9. So that's our equation. 5 less than a certain number, x minus 5, is equals 9 less than 3 times that number, 3x minus 9. And then we just solve away, having a real good time. Let's get the x's on the same side of the bench. We've got 1x on the left and 3 on the right, so let's take 1 away from both sides. 1x, of course, silly. And that leaves us with negative 5 and 1 less x to play with. Negative 5 equals 2, and so we'll keep that 2x, and we've got minus 9, so we'll add 9 to both sides, and that gives us 2x is equal to 4, and you can probably see if I divide both sides by 2, x is going to be equal to, therefore, so we can say, remember we want to answer the question in words, therefore, the number, because we're only asked what a certain number is, the number in question is 2. Dave and Mitch made 254 runs between them in a cricket match. If Mitch made 68 more runs than David, how many runs did each of them make? Okay, so let's start with, let's run. So let R be the number of runs. It can't be the total number of runs because we know what that is. David made. Because we know Mitch made 68 more runs than David. So it makes sense to start with David's runs. So, okay. So the total is 254 runs. So whatever it was, David's number of runs is going to be R. And Mitch made 68 more runs than David. So we're going to add to that. I'll put it in brackets. I don't really have to, but just to show that it's its own thing. Right? So this is Dave's runs, and this is Mitchie's runs. Right? Because David, 68 more than David. That could have been D for David. I don't know. So as I said, I don't really need those brackets because we're adding them together. An R plus an R gives us 2 R's. Plus 68 equals that number. And then we just subtract 68 from both sides. And that gives us 2 times the number of runs, which is 186. Divide that by 2. All right, okay. Divide it by 2, and that gives us 93. So, therefore, we have to put in words. David made 93 runs, and then we have to do a little bit of addition, and Mitch made, let's see, 1930 plus 68, and carry the 161 runs. And just to be sure we got it right, we're going to add them together in our minds or with our calculator, make sure we come up with that magic total of 254, and I think you'll find it does.